The office at noon feels suspended. Light rests evenly across the desks, not sharp, not dim, just steady enough to make the papers look almost patient. The floor tiles hold a faint coolness under your shoes, even through the thin soles, and the thin silence hums between distant movements in the hallway. A stack of bills sits near your elbow. The edges are slightly curled, numbers lined up in quiet rows, waiting without urgency yet never entirely forgettable. Your fingers touch the corner of one envelope, then move away, as if even paper has a temperature of its own in the middle of the day. Beyond the window, the balcony rail catches a strip of pale light. It does not ask for attention. It simply stands there, separating the room from the open air, while a distant murmur from the street rises and falls without reaching fully inside. For a moment, everything seems to pause at the same height, as if noon has stretched itself thin and wide enough for you to stand in it. The air holds that thin silence. And somewhere, water keeps running. The chair creaks a little when you lean back. It is the kind of small sound that blends into office quiet, yet still reminds you that you have a body resting somewhere between the desk and the tiled floor. The coolness of the floor presses upward through your shoes again, steady and plain, like something that has always been there and never asked to be noticed. On the screen, a bank notification waits. The amount is not dramatic. It is simply there, another transfer scheduled, another line added to the quiet order of bills that have found their way to your desk. You scroll once, then stop, not because there is nothing left to read, but because reading further would not change the numbers. Thin silence stretches around the room. Someone coughs down the corridor. A drawer opens and closes, then the air returns to its even hum, as if noon is carefully smoothing the surface of everything that tries to ripple it. Your hand moves toward the stack again. One envelope is heavier than the others. The paper inside shifts slightly when you lift it, a soft whisper against itself. You do not open it yet. You let it rest in your palm, feeling the faint texture along the edge, the almost invisible ridge where it was sealed. Beyond the glass door, the balcony waits in daylight. The metal railing casts a thin shadow across the concrete, straight and uncomplicated. Outside, a motorbike passes. The sound arrives softened by distance, just enough to remind you that the world is still in motion even while this room feels paused. You set the envelope down. Not as a decision. Just as a movement that follows another. Your fingers stay on it a second longer than necessary, as if acknowledging that these small rectangles of paper carry weight in ways that are not visible. There are messages in the group chat. A question about a deadline. A reminder about a meeting later this week. The words appear and disappear in the corner of the screen, gentle and insistent at the same time. You glance at them, then lower your eyes back to the desk. The cool floor tile holds its quiet temperature. It does not hurry you. It does not offer comfort either. It simply remains, a steady surface under a day that is halfway done. You think about the evening for a moment. Not in detail. Just a vague outline of unlocking the door, placing your bag down, stepping onto the balcony for a breath of open air before the rest of the night begins. The image is soft and unfinished, like something sketched lightly in pencil. The numbers on the bill do not change. They are not cruel. They are not kind. They exist in the same way the railing exists, in the same way the tiled floor exists, present and matter-of-fact. You inhale slowly. The thin silence deepens for a breath, as if the room has joined you. Even the light seems to settle more evenly across the desk, touching the corner of the envelope, the edge of your keyboard, the curve of your wrist. For a brief second, nothing demands an answer. The noon hour stays open, wide enough to stand inside without being pushed forward. The balcony remains just beyond the door, holding its quiet strip of sky, while the stack of bills waits without speaking. Your fingers brush the paper once more. And somewhere, water keeps running. The afternoon leans forward slowly. The light at the window shifts just enough to trace a thinner line along the balcony rail, as if the day has exhaled and moved its weight slightly to one side. Inside, the office quiet remains almost intact, broken only by the soft scrape of a chair somewhere beyond your door. You open one bill this time. The paper unfolds with a dry, careful sound. Columns of numbers sit in tidy alignment, neither loud nor dramatic, only exact. Your eyes follow the rows, pausing at the total, then drifting back up as though the sequence itself matters more than the final figure. The floor tile feels cooler now. Perhaps it is only that you have been sitting longer. The thin silence gathers around the desk again, stretched between the hum of the air conditioning and the faint murmur of traffic far below the balcony. You reach for the mirror near the sink in the small office restroom. It hangs slightly tilted, catching more ceiling than face unless you step closer. The tap runs for a moment as you rinse your hands, water slipping over your skin with a quiet steadiness. The sound fills the small space without effort. For a few seconds, you watch your reflection. Not searching for anything. Just noticing the way light rests across your forehead, the way your shoulders sit a little lower than they did this morning. The towel beside the sink hangs in a soft fold, waiting without purpose. You turn the tap off. The silence returns in a thin layer, almost delicate, as if it has been laid carefully over the room again. Back at your desk, the opened bill lies flat. The crease at its center divides the page neatly in two, like a line drawn down the middle of a calm surface. You smooth it once with your palm, feeling the faint resistance of paper against skin. Outside, someone steps onto the balcony in the neighboring office. A low conversation drifts upward, indistinct and brief. The railing holds the late light a little longer now, less bright than noon but still clear. You do not step outside. You only glance toward it, as if checking that it remains where it was. Your screen lights up again. Another notification about a transfer scheduled for next week. The numbers are ordinary, almost familiar now, appearing without surprise. You do not rush to respond. You let the message sit there, glowing quietly against the neutral background. Your hands rest on the desk. There is a faint mark on the wood near the corner, a small scratch that catches the light when you tilt your head. It has probably been there for years, unnoticed until now. You fold the paper once more along its original line. The motion is simple, practiced, neither heavy nor light. The bill returns to its envelope, the edge sliding in with a soft friction that barely disturbs the air. The afternoon continues. The office quiet does not ask for explanation. The mirror in the restroom reflects only what stands before it. The balcony keeps its patient line against the sky, and the distant traffic hums at a steady distance. You sit back for a moment. The thin silence rests against your shoulders, almost like fabric. Nothing has been resolved, and nothing has been undone. The stack on the desk is smaller by one opened envelope, yet still present, still part of the same day. Your fingers pause above the keyboard. And somewhere, water keeps running. The office grows quieter as the hour bends. Not empty, just softened, as if everyone has stepped slightly inward. The light no longer spreads flat across the desks but angles gently, leaving faint shadows along the edges of paper and the rim of your cup. You do not open another envelope. Instead, you slide the stack a little to the side, clearing a small space in front of you. The surface of the desk feels cooler where the papers had been resting, a square of untouched wood that has not felt your hands all day. Thin silence lingers there. It rests between the hum of the air conditioner and the distant traffic drifting up past the balcony, a sound so far away it feels more like memory than movement. You stand and step toward the window. The balcony door is closed, but the glass carries a faint reflection of the room behind you. For a moment, your own outline overlaps with the railing outside, the two lines crossing without touching. The sky has turned a paler shade. Clouds move slowly, almost imperceptibly, as if the afternoon has decided not to hurry itself toward evening. The metal rail holds a soft warmth from the earlier sun, though you only imagine it through the pane. Your hand rests briefly on the door handle. Not to open it. Just to feel the cool metal under your palm. The gesture is small, nearly absent, yet it steadies something that has been shifting quietly inside the day. Back at the desk, the mirror from the restroom lingers in your thoughts. The way your shoulders looked there. The way the towel hung without urgency. There was no instruction in that reflection, no commentary, only a face meeting its own gaze for a breath or two. The floor tile presses upward again. Its coolness is constant, unchanged by numbers or notifications. You notice the faint outline where one tile meets the next, a narrow line that runs straight beneath your chair. A new email arrives. You see the subject line but do not open it immediately. The stack of bills remains in its place, no longer centered, no longer demanding the full space of your desk. Outside, a bird lands briefly on the balcony rail. It tilts its head once, then lifts away without sound. The movement is so small you almost doubt it happened, except for the slight shift of shadow it leaves behind. You sit down again. The chair receives your weight with the same quiet creak as before. Your hands rest lightly on either side of the keyboard, not typing, not reaching. There is a softness to this hour. It does not erase the transfers waiting to be made or the figures printed in careful rows. It simply places them in the same field of light as everything else, the railing, the floor tile, the faint hum of air moving through vents above your head. You inhale slowly. The air feels thinner now, almost delicate, as if stretched across the room like a translucent sheet. Even the edges of the envelopes seem less rigid in this softer light. For a moment, you allow the desk to remain unfinished. No new tab opens. No calculation is redone. The afternoon settles around you without insistence, holding its quiet balance between inside and outside, between paper and sky. Your gaze drifts once more toward the balcony. The railing stands in patient alignment against the fading light, neither close nor far, simply present. You lower your eyes back to the desk. And somewhere, water keeps running. The light begins to thin at the edges of the room. It no longer fills the space evenly but gathers in smaller pools, on the corner of the desk, along the spine of a closed notebook, across the faint curve of the envelope you have not opened. You reach for the mirror again, almost without thinking. Not the one in the restroom this time, but the small reflective strip on your phone screen before it fully wakes. For a second, your face appears there, dim and slightly distorted, framed by the quiet of the office. The screen brightens. Numbers replace your reflection. A reminder about an upcoming transfer sits near the top, steady and unblinking. You let your thumb hover, then lower the device back to the desk without tapping. Thin silence spreads wider now. Fewer footsteps pass in the corridor. The hum above you feels softer, as if even the building understands that the day is folding inward. The cool floor tile carries the same calm temperature it has held since noon. You gather two of the bills into a neater stack. The paper edges align under your fingertips, forming a clean line that did not exist before. The gesture is small and precise, not a solution, just a quiet rearrangement of what is already here. Outside, the balcony rail has lost its brightness. It stands darker against a sky that has begun to pale toward evening. The distant traffic hum continues, thinner now, like a thread pulled gently through fabric. You rest your forearms on the desk. The wood presses lightly into your skin. There is a faint indentation where years of hands have leaned in similar ways, a shallow curve that holds memory without announcing it. A message arrives in the group chat. You read it once, then again, the words settling without urgency. No immediate answer forms. The phone lies face up beside the stack of paper, its surface catching the last of the daylight. You stand and walk toward the balcony door. This time, you open it slightly. Not wide enough for noise to rush in, only enough to let a thin band of air cross the threshold. The scent of the outside is neutral, almost cool, carrying no story, only space. You step just onto the edge. The metal railing is faintly warm beneath your palm, holding the memory of earlier sun. The city below continues at its own pace, unaware of the figures printed on paper behind you. For a moment, you do nothing. No counting. No checking. The sky stretches quietly above the neighboring buildings, pale and without declaration. You close the door again. The room returns to its contained hush. The stack of bills remains on the desk, unchanged by the small visit to open air. The mirror in the restroom will still hang slightly tilted. The floor tile will still press upward with the same cool steadiness. You sit down once more. The chair answers with its soft creak, familiar now, almost reassuring in its predictability. Your hands rest near the papers but do not reach for them immediately. Evening has not fully arrived. It hovers in the space between light and shadow, between action and rest. The desk holds its objects without tension, the envelopes, the phone, the faint scratch in the wood. You align the top envelope with the others. The movement is quiet, nearly invisible, yet complete in itself. And somewhere, water keeps running. The office is almost empty now. A few lights remain on, casting a softer glow across the desks, while the rest of the room recedes into a gentle dimness that feels less like absence and more like rest. You stay seated a little longer. The stack of bills sits where you left it, edges aligned, no longer scattered across the wood. The phone rests beside them, quiet for the moment, its screen dark and reflective. Thin silence gathers in the corners. It is not complete silence, there is still the low hum of air moving somewhere above, and the faint thread of traffic drifting past the balcony, but it feels thinner, more delicate, as if it could be folded. You open the laptop again. Not to calculate. Just to look. The numbers on the screen appear familiar now, no longer sharp against your eyes. They are part of the same surface as the desk, the railing, the cool tile under your feet. Your hand moves to the envelope at the bottom of the stack. You do not tear it open. You slide it slightly forward, feeling the paper edge press against your fingertip. The motion is small, controlled, almost ceremonial in its slowness. Outside, the sky has shifted further. Blue has thinned toward gray, and the balcony rail stands in quiet outline against it. A single light flickers on in a neighboring building, then another, each window holding its own contained brightness. You stand and step out once more. This time, the air feels cooler on your face. The railing has lost the warmth it held earlier, it carries only the neutral temperature of evening metal. Below, a motorbike passes, its sound rising and fading without insistence. You lean your forearms lightly against the rail. The city does not pause for your numbers. It does not rearrange itself according to transfers or due dates. It continues in small, steady movements, doors opening, footsteps crossing, distant voices merging into a single indistinct layer. For a brief moment, you let the view be enough. No analysis. No projection. Just the shape of rooftops under fading light and the thin silence stretching between sounds. Back inside, the desk waits. The envelopes have not shifted in your absence. The faint scratch in the wood catches the yellowing light now, more visible than before. You sit again. The chair responds with its familiar creak, softer this time, almost tired. Your hands hover above the bills, then rest flat on either side of them. You pick up one envelope and place it carefully back on top of the stack. Not to ignore it. Not to erase it. Simply to return it to its place among the others. The action feels measured, complete in its own small boundary. The room holds its quiet balance. The mirror in the restroom will reflect whoever stands before it next. The cool floor tile will keep its steady touch. The balcony will face the darkening sky whether you look at it or not. You close the laptop. The screen fades to black, leaving only the faint outline of your own shape reflected there for a second before disappearing. The bills remain. They are neither heavier nor lighter than before. They belong to this day, as the light did, as the thin silence does. Your hands rest still on the desk. And somewhere, water keeps running. Night settles without announcement. The office lights switch off one by one down the corridor, until only a softer glow remains above your desk. The room feels smaller now, contained within its own quiet boundary, as if the day has folded its edges inward. You leave the building slowly. The lobby carries a faint echo of your footsteps, each one landing on cool tile that feels almost colder than it did at noon. Outside, the air holds a thin layer of evening, neither warm nor sharp, simply present. At home, the balcony waits in darkness. A single light from the living room stretches outward, touching the metal rail in a pale strip. You step out with the envelope still in your hand, not because you need to open it there, but because the open air feels wider than the room behind you. The city has quieted. Traffic moves at a distance, its sound softened by height and walls. Windows across the street glow in separate squares, each one holding its own version of a late hour. You rest the envelope on the railing. The paper bends slightly with the curve of the metal, its edges catching a faint sheen from the indoor light. You do not unfold it. You only let your palm stay there for a moment, feeling the steady coolness beneath it. Thin silence drapes across the balcony. It is lighter than silence at noon, more transparent, as if it could be lifted gently without breaking. Even the distant hum of a passing car seems to move through it carefully. You think of the mirror again. The slight tilt. The quiet face that looked back without commentary. In this light, there is no reflection, only the faint outline of your shadow cast against the floor. Inside, the room is dim. The stack of bills rests on the table where you placed it earlier, aligned and undisturbed. The phone lies beside it, dark, no notifications interrupting this narrow band of time. You pick up the envelope from the railing and bring it back in. The movement is unhurried, almost weightless. The numbers inside have not shifted with the change of location. They remain printed in their careful rows, unchanged by sky or silence. You sit at the table. The chair at home does not creak like the one at the office. It receives your weight without sound. The coolness of the floor tile reaches your bare feet now, more direct, more honest. You open the envelope at last. The paper unfolds in the quiet room, a small, dry sound that feels larger in the absence of everything else. Your eyes move down the page once, slowly, without calculation. There is no urgency in this hour. Only the steady presence of what is here, the paper in your hands, the dim light over the table, the thin silence resting against the walls. You place the bill back on the table. Not as a dismissal. Not as a surrender. Just as a simple return to the surface that holds it. You step back onto the balcony one more time. The night air brushes your face, cooler now, carrying no message, no demand. The railing stands where it has stood all evening, patient and unchanged. Your hand rests lightly on it. The city breathes below, quiet and continuous. The bills wait inside, part of the same night as the dark sky, as the thin silence that stretches between buildings. You close your eyes for a brief second. Then open them again to the same steady scene. You turn slightly toward the room. And somewhere, water keeps running. Night has fully settled now. The balcony holds only a thin outline against the sky, and the rooms behind you carry their own quiet shapes in dim light. The stack of bills remains on the table, paper edges aligned, numbers resting where they have always rested. Nothing is louder than before. The cool tile meets your feet without surprise. The mirror in the bathroom will still tilt slightly tomorrow. The railing will still stand at the edge of open air, patient and unremarkable. You walk back inside and let the door close gently behind you. The envelope lies where you placed it, neither calling nor hiding. It belongs to this night the same way the distant traffic hum does, the same way the thin silence stretches across the ceiling and down the walls. You turn off the last light. Darkness does not erase anything. It only softens the outlines, allowing them to rest. The room settles into its own breathing, steady and unhurried. You stand for a moment longer. And somewhere, water keeps running.